Look around you. The world operates on a very loud frequency when it comes to money. Everywhere you turn, people are performing their financial status. They buy things to send signals to strangers. They upgrade their lives to match a picture they saw on a screen. This is the loud version of wealth. It is the version society teaches us to desire, but there is a different frequency, a frequency that operates below the noise. It belongs to the quietly rich. These individuals do not seek your attention. They do not need your validation. They have discovered that true wealth is not about what you can show to others. True wealth is about what you can keep for yourself. The quietly rich understand human behavior. They know that flaunting success often invites unnecessary complications. It invites envy and expectation. By choosing to remain invisible, they protect their peace. They protect their energy. And most importantly, they protect their freedom. Most people are playing a game they did not design. They earn money to buy things that depreciate. They take on debt to maintain an image. This image requires constant feeding. It demands more time and more stress and more sacrifice. The performance becomes a prison. You might see someone in a luxury vehicle and assume they are wealthy. In many cases, you are only seeing their debt. You are seeing their desire to be seen. The quietly rich see this game clearly. They realize early on that the performance of wealth is the enemy of actual wealth. The energy spent trying to look rich is energy taken away from building a foundation. The quietly rich focus on the foundation. They build quietly. They accumulate assets that do not scream for attention. They buy back their time, because time is the ultimate currency. When you do not care what your neighbor thinks of your life, you unlock a massive advantage. You unlock the ability to make decisions based purely on logic and personal fulfillment. Anonymity is a shield. When people do not know what you have, they do not know what to expect from you. The quietly rich navigate the world without the burden of expectations. They can sit in a coffee shop and observe. They can walk through a neighborhood without drawing eyes. This lack of attention provides massive strategic clarity. It allows them to think deeply about their investments and their life choices. The modern world encourages oversharing. It pushes you to broadcast every victory. But broadcasting your victories often signals to others that you have arrived. And when people think you have arrived, they treat you differently. The quietly rich prefer to remain works in progress in the eyes of the public. They do not need applause. Applause is loud and temporary. Freedom is quiet and enduring. If you want to understand how they operate, you have to unlearn everything the culture has taught you about success. Success is not a shiny object. It is a quiet state of mind. Consider where your focus goes on a daily basis. Many people spend hours managing the optics of their life. They curate their appearance to fit into a specific social class. The quietly rich redirect all of that energy. They channel it into understanding markets and businesses and human psychology. They know that wealth is built through consistent and unglamorous action. It is built in the shadows. When you stop buying things to impress people, you suddenly have a surplus of resources. You have more capital to deploy into things that actually grow. You also have more mental bandwidth. Mental bandwidth is essential for making sound financial decisions. Fatigue and stress often lead to poor choices. The loud version of wealth creates fatigue. It creates a constant state of comparison. The quiet version creates calm. It creates a space where you can assess risk objectively. You begin to view money not as a tool for status, but as a tool for options. The more options you have, the less you have to tolerate things you do not want to do. To adopt the habits of the quietly rich, you must undergo a shift in identity. You must let go of the need to be perceived as successful. This is incredibly difficult for many individuals. Our brains are wired for social validation. We want the tribe to recognize our value. But you must realize that financial security provides a much deeper sense of safety than social validation ever could. When you have enough resources quietly stored away, you walk differently. You speak differently. You do not operate from a place of fear or scarcity. You operate from a place of calm authority. You do not need to raise your voice because your position is secure. This quiet confidence is often mistaken for humility. It is indeed humble, but it is also highly strategic. When you do not feel the need to prove yourself, you rarely overextend yourself. You avoid the traps of ego-driven investing. Ego ruins many fortunes. Quiet discipline builds them. The identity of the quietly rich is rooted in substance over surface. Think about the cost of living loudly. Every visible display of wealth comes with a maintenance fee. A massive house requires constant upkeep. A luxury car requires expensive insurance and repairs. These are the literal costs, but the psychological costs are much higher. You become tied to the things you own. Your identity becomes enmeshed with your possessions. If you lose the possessions, you feel as though you have lost yourself. The quietly rich avoid this vulnerability. By keeping their lifestyle simple and their assets hidden, they remain highly adaptable. If the economy shifts, they can pivot without a massive shock to their ego or their living situation. They remain light on their feet. This adaptability increases the likelihood of long-term survival and prosperity. They do not tie their self-worth to their net worth. They view money simply as a utility. It is water flowing through a system. You need it to nourish the system, but you do not worship the water. You simply manage its flow. We are going to explore the specific habits that create this quiet wealth. These are not quick fixes or superficial tips. These are deep behavioral patterns that separate the truly independent from the perpetually trapped. They require discipline and self-awareness. They require you to look closely at your own motivations. Why do you buy what you buy? Who are you trying to impress? What are you actually trying to achieve? As we move through these concepts, you may feel a sense of discomfort. That is natural. It means you are challenging beliefs you have held for a long time. Lean into that discomfort. The path to quiet wealth is not crowded. Most people prefer the loud and flashy road because it offers immediate feedback. The quiet road offers delayed gratification, but the rewards are exponentially greater. You will learn to observe the masses and do the opposite. You will learn to find immense satisfaction in the things that no one else can see. The modern economy is designed to extract your money through your attention. Every advertisement and every social platform is engineered to create a feeling of inadequacy. They want you to feel that you are missing something, so you will spend money to fill the gap. The quietly rich have built immunity to this machinery. They protect their attention just as fiercely as they protect their capital. They understand that where attention goes, money flows. If you allow your attention to be hijacked by the loud culture of consumption, your money will follow. You must become a guard at the gate of your own mind. You must actively filter out the noise. When you do this, you begin to notice opportunities that others miss. You see the mechanics of wealth creation rather than the shiny byproduct of it. This clear vision is what allows the quietly rich to compound their resources over decades without drawing any unnecessary heat. We live in an era where visibility is highly valued. We are taught that if something is not seen, it does not exist. This applies to success as much as anything else. If you are doing well, people expect you to show it. If you do not show it, people assume you are struggling. The quietly rich are entirely comfortable letting people assume they are struggling. They find comfort in being underestimated. Being underestimated is an incredible advantage in business and in life. When no one sees you coming, you face far less resistance. You do not trigger the defensive mechanisms of the people around you. You can gather resources and build alliances and execute strategies without interference. The loud individual draws challenges. The loud individual constantly has to defend their position at the top of the social hierarchy. The quiet individual opts out of the hierarchy entirely. They build their own mountain away from the public eye. The journey ahead requires a quiet mind. You must approach this information without defensiveness. Do not judge your past financial decisions. Guilt is not a productive emotion in this arena. Simply observe where you have been operating according to the loud rules of society. Acknowledge it and prepare to shift your stance. The principles we will discuss are universally applicable. They do not require a specific background or a massive inheritance. They simply require a willingness to step out of the performative game. They require you to value your own freedom more than the opinions of strangers. This is a profound exchange. You are trading visible status for invisible peace and unshakable stability. As you integrate these habits into your daily life, You will notice a gradual reduction in stress. You will notice a growing sense of control over your time. This is the hallmark of the quietly rich. It is not a sudden explosion of visible success. It is a slow and deliberate accumulation of power and peace. Let us begin the first section. We will call this the architecture of invisibility. Look closely at the people who hold true financial power in your city or your industry. They rarely wear the uniform of the wealthy. They do not drive the most aggressive vehicles or wear the most recognizable brands. They have mastered the art of blending in. This is not an accident. It is a highly calculated strategy. The quietly rich understand that visibility is often a liability. When you display wealth, you frequently become a target. You become a target for marketers and expectations and the entitlement of others. People begin to calculate what they think you owe them based on what they assume you have. This creates a subtle but constant pressure. The quietly rich reduce this pressure entirely by choosing to remain visually unremarkable. They wear plain clothes and live in comfortable but unassuming homes. They find deep satisfaction in knowing their resources are hidden. This hidden capacity gives them a massive advantage, which is peace of mind. Most individuals associate wealth with acquisition. They believe that getting richer means buying more things and displaying those things to the world. The quietly rich view wealth as a process of elimination. They eliminate high-interest debt. They eliminate financial obligations that do not serve their long-term goals. They avoid the need to compete in the status games that distract so many of their peers. This process of elimination creates a vast open space in their lives. This space is filled with time and autonomy. When you are no longer spending your energy defending a luxurious image, you can direct that energy toward acquiring assets that generate quiet capital, assets that work while you sleep, assets that do not require validation from your neighbors. The transition from acquiring objects to acquiring freedom is the defining shift. This shift often leads to a profound sense of relief. You step off the treadmill of comparison and realize you never had to run on it in the first place. Think about the psychological weight of a highly visible lifestyle. It requires immense maintenance. You must constantly defend your position in the social hierarchy. If your neighbor buys a new vehicle, you might feel a quiet urge to match their display. This is a common human response, driven by our natural desire to fit into the group. But the quietly rich rewrite this psychological mechanism. They realize something very deeply. They realize that the group they are trying to impress does not actually care about them deeply. The group often only cares about the symbols. Once you understand that people are frequently admiring your possessions and not you, the desire to acquire those possessions fades. You begin to see status symbols as heavy chains. You see them as anchors that keep you tied to a job you might not like, or a lifestyle that drains your vitality. By dropping these anchors, you float upward. You achieve a lightness that the loud and visible crowd rarely understands. This requires immense personal discipline. The quiet accumulation of resources requires you to sit with the discomfort of being misunderstood. When you drive an older vehicle, while earning a high income, people might assume you are struggling. They might offer unsolicited advice or look at you with pity. You must develop the emotional fortitude to smile and say nothing. You must learn to draw your self-worth from your actual stability rather than your perceived net worth. This is a private victory. Every time you choose to invest your capital, instead of spending it on a visible upgrade, you build intense internal resilience. You strengthen the muscle of delayed gratification. Over time, this discipline compounds, just like your investments compound. You become a person who is not easily manipulated by social pressure. You build immunity to the tactics of advertisers who try to sell you a better version of yourself. You already possess the best version of yourself because you own your time and your choices. Let us examine the concept of the lifestyle baseline. Most people adjust their lifestyle baseline upward every time their income increases. They get a raise and immediately increase their expenses to match the new incoming capital streams. They move to a larger house and buy a more expensive vehicle and start taking lavish vacations. This often ensures that they remain trapped in a cycle of dependency regardless of how much they earn. The quietly rich employ a completely different strategy. They establish a comfortable baseline and they lock it in place. When their income increases, their lifestyle remains largely the same. The surplus capital is quietly diverted into investments. This creates a rapidly expanding gap between what they earn and what they spend. This gap is the birthplace of true wealth. It is the engine of financial independence. By refusing to inflate their lifestyle, they buy their own freedom year after year. They recognize that a simple life is not a deprived life. A simple life is a defensible life. Consider the social dynamics of financial ambiguity. When your financial status is ambiguous, you operate from a position of profound strength. People cannot easily categorize you. They cannot quickly determine where you fit in their mental hierarchy. This uncertainty often encourages them to engage with you based on your character and your intellect rather than your bank account. You attract relationships that are rooted in mutual respect and shared values. The loudly wealthy often struggle to find genuine connections because they rarely know if people like them for who they are or for what they have. The quietly rich avoid this dilemma. By presenting a modest exterior, they filter out opportunists. They build a circle of allies who value substance over surface. This creates a stable and supportive environment that further enhances their ability to succeed. Ambiguity is not about deception or manipulation. It is about protecting your energy from those who would seek to drain it and fostering genuine interactions. One of the core practices is the strict separation of emotion from capital. Society encourages us to view money as a tool for emotional regulation. We buy things to feel better. We spend money to celebrate or to soothe our anxiety. The quietly rich train themselves to view money strictly as a mathematical utility. They aim to remove the emotional charge from their financial decisions. When a market drops, they try not to feel panic. They look for a probability-based opportunity. When they receive a large sum of money, they do not feel the urge to celebrate with a massive purchase. They calmly allocate the resources according to a carefully planned long-term wealth strategy. This emotional detachment often leads to vastly superior outcomes. It helps prevent the erratic behavior that damages so many portfolios. You must learn to observe your financial impulses without acting on them immediately. You must insert a gap between the desire to spend and the act of spending. In that gap lies your ability to choose wisely. The quiet approach to wealth also extends to how you discuss money. The quietly rich rarely talk about their investments or their successes in public forums. They do not share their net worth or brag about their returns. They understand the psychology of their peers. Talking about money often triggers insecurity in others. It can create unnecessary friction and resentment. If they discuss financial strategies, they do it privately, with trusted peers who share similar goals. They maintain a strict information boundary regarding their own affairs. This silence is sometimes misinterpreted as ignorance by those who equate talking with knowing. But the silence is highly strategic. It keeps their methods protected. It keeps their environment peaceful. And it preserves the calm focus they have worked so hard to build. When you stop feeling the need to broadcast your wins, you keep the energy. You keep all of the energy of those wins for yourself. You use that energy to fuel the next phase of your quiet expansion. As you adopt these habits, you will begin to experience a profound internal shift. You will likely stop looking outward for validation and begin looking inward for direction. You will realize that a high form of wealth is not waking up in a mansion, but waking up without financial anxiety. It is knowing that you have built a strong foundation around your life that can withstand economic downturns or the shifting opinions of broader society. This foundation is built brick by invisible brick. It is built through thousands of small decisions that nobody else ever sees. The rejection of status symbols, the automation of investments, the disciplined control of attention. These are the quiet tools of those who seek true stability. They do not require a special degree or a unique talent. They simply require a relentless commitment to your own independence and personal responsibility. You must decide that your future freedom is more valuable than your current visibility. You must embrace the quiet path. The quiet wealth provides quiet stability. You manage your own direction with clarity. Now let us shift our attention to how the quietly rich evaluate the concept of value. Most people look at the price tag of an item and ask a simple question: can I afford this right now? If they have enough funds in their bank account or enough available credit on a card, they declare that they can afford it. This is a surface-level calculation. The quietly rich look at value through a much deeper lens. They do not merely ask if they have the funds to make the purchase. They ask what that purchase will cost them in future independence. They calculate the compounding potential of the money being spent. If you spend $1,000 on a temporary luxury today, you are not just spending $1,000. You are spending the $5,000 or $10,000 that those initial funds could have earned over the next 20 years if properly invested. When you reframe spending in this manner, every transaction acquires a subtle gravity. You begin to see that buying unnecessary items is essentially trading your future freedom for a moment of fleeting gratification. This dynamic leads to a fundamental principle in the psychology of quiet wealth. Price is what you pay, but value is what you receive. The loud consumer often buys high-price items that deliver low real value. They purchase products designed to project status to strangers, while offering very little long-term utility. The quietly rich do the exact opposite. They are comfortable paying for high-quality tools and experiences that genuinely improve their health, or efficiency, or peace of mind. Even if those items carry no visible brand names, they will spend money on a quiet environment, or a good mattress, or a quality education, because these investments increase their capacity to think clearly and work effectively. But they will resist spending money on items whose primary purpose is to signal success to others. They refuse to pay the social tax. The social tax is the extra cost built into products that exist primarily to show off. By opting out of that tax, you retain a significant portion of your income without sacrificing actual quality of life. Consider how capital is viewed within this framework. To the average consumer, money is something you exchange for physical goods or experiences. Once the money leaves your hand, it is gone forever. The quietly rich view capital as a workforce of silent energy. Every dollar is seen as an employee that can be deployed to generate more dollars over time. When you hold this view, spending money becomes a serious decision because you are effectively retiring a worker from your team. You are taking a unit of productivity out of your system. If you spend $10 on something you do not need, you have dismissed a small worker that could have worked for you for decades. When you accumulate a large team of these silent workers, they begin to generate enough income to support your lifestyle without requiring your direct daily labor. This is the moment true leverage is created. You shift from working for money to managing a system that generates resources independently. This conceptual shift transforms your relationship with every single note of currency that passes through your hands. To build this silent team of workers, you must develop a strong defense against lifestyle inflation. Lifestyle inflation occurs when your spending automatically rises to meet your increasing income. It is one of the most common reasons why high-earning individuals still find themselves living paycheck to paycheck. When they receive a promotion or a business victory, they immediately upgrade their living quarters, or buy a newer vehicle, or subscribe to more expensive services. They justify these choices by telling themselves that they have earned the right to enjoy their success. But this habit keeps them tied to the economic wheel. The quietly rich maintain a deliberate gap between their earning potential and their actual consumption. When their income expands, their lifestyle remains calm and steady. They divert the new surplus directly into assets before they even have a chance to feel the temptation to spend it. This habit requires high self-awareness because our environment constantly encourages us to celebrate progress by spending money. There is an effective method to manage this tendency, which we can call deliberate friction. The modern world is engineered to remove friction from spending. You can buy products with a single click or tap your card without feeling the tangible loss of paper currency. This lack of friction leads to impulse spending and unconscious financial leakage. The quietly rich introduce intentional friction into their financial decisions. They implement waiting periods before making non-essential purchases. If they feel a strong desire to buy something that is not a necessity, they force themselves to wait 48 hours or even 30 days before making the decision. During this waiting period, the initial emotional impulse often fades. They realize that they did not actually need or truly want the item. They were simply responding to a momentary spark of novelty. By inserting time between the impulse and the action, you allow your logical mind to take control back from your emotional impulses. This simple practice preserves vast amounts of capital over a lifetime. Another key habit of the quietly rich is asymmetric risk management. Most people make financial choices based on potential rewards while ignoring potential risk. They focus on how much money they could make if an opportunity succeeds, without considering what would happen if it fails completely. The quietly rich prioritize defense before offense. Their first goal in any financial decision is to protect their principal capital. They ask themselves a critical question: what is the downside, and can I comfortably survive it? If an opportunity carries a small chance of total financial ruin, they avoid it, regardless of how attractive the potential upside might appear. They understand that preserving capital allows them to stay in the game indefinitely. In the realm of finance, survival is the foundation of compounding. If you get wiped out once, you lose years of progress and emotional momentum. By focusing on downside protection and keeping a generous margin of safety, you position yourself to weather economic storms that ruin less cautious individuals. A margin of safety is simply the difference between what you expect and what could realistically go wrong. The quietly rich build margins of safety into every area of their financial architecture. They maintain robust cash reserves that are kept completely separate from their investments. This cash buffer provides emotional insulation during periods of market volatility or unexpected life events. When an unforeseen expense arises, or when economic conditions deteriorate, they do not have to sell their long-term investments at a loss to cover immediate needs. They can step back and evaluate options calmly because their immediate survival is fully secured. People who operate without a margin of safety are forced to react out of panic when circumstances change. Panic is the enemy of sound judgment. By holding a cushion of liquidity, you buy the time necessary to make deliberate and calculated adjustments to your strategy. Let us also address the concept of long-horizon thinking. The modern attention economy trains people to focus on immediate results. We want fast returns and rapid progress and instant feedback. This short-term focus creates vulnerability because meaningful wealth takes time to build and mature. The quietly rich think in terms of decades rather than months. They understand that compounding is backloaded. The vast majority of the financial growth occurs in the later stages of a long compounding period. In the early years, the progress may seem slow and unexciting. A person with short-term vision often becomes discouraged during this initial phase and abandons their strategy in search of faster results. The person with long-horizon thinking stays the course. They accept the quiet years of steady accumulation because they know that consistency creates extraordinary results over time. They are not looking for rapid spikes. They are looking for sustainable growth. This long-horizon focus naturally influences how they respond to economic volatility. When markets fall, or broader sentiment turns negative, the average person feels fear and reacts by pulling back or panicking. They view market downturns as a threat to their security. The quietly rich maintain an objective perspective. They understand that volatility is a normal and expected feature of economic systems. Rather than viewing a downturn as a disaster, they view it as a periodic opportunity to acquire valuable assets at reasonable prices. Because they possess cash reserves and low personal debt, they can act with calm resolve, while others are operating out of fear. They do not attempt to time the market perfectly or predict every shift. They simply continue their disciplined allocation process with patience and emotional stability. This steady demeanor transforms market turbulence from a source of anxiety into a natural wealth-building environment. Let us examine another foundational habit of the quietly rich, which is the practice of operational stillness. In the modern business world, people frequently confuse activity with achievement. They believe that being busy and managing many moving parts is proof of importance and success. They surround themselves with constant notifications and urgent meetings and complex operations. The quietly rich view this constant state of friction as a structural weakness. They prefer silent equity over active turmoil. Silent equity means owning assets that require very little of your daily energy to maintain and grow. It means investing in robust businesses, or broad market indices, or managed properties, where competent systems do the heavy lifting for you. When you demand that your investments require minimal daily intervention, you preserve your most critical asset, which is your clear mental capacity. When an individual insists on controlling every minor detail of their ventures, they are often driven by ego rather than strategic clarity. They want to feel necessary. They want to be the central pillar upon which everything rests. This need to be essential creates a severe limit on how far your wealth can scale. You only have 24 hours in a day, and your energy diminishes as the hours pass. If your income depends entirely on your direct presence and constant intervention, you have built a high-paying job rather than genuine financial independence. The quietly rich recognize this boundary early in their journey. They actively design their lives to step back from unnecessary operational friction. They hire capable managers or rely on automated frameworks. They accept slightly lower short-term control in exchange for total long-term freedom. This willingness to be non-essential in daily operations allows their systems to compound silently across multiple years without breaking their personal peace. This principle of stillness also applies directly to how the quietly rich navigate personal relationships. Money carries immense emotional charge in human society. When people realize that you have accumulated substantial resources, their behavior toward you often undergoes a subtle shift. Some may seek loans or financial assistance without a clear plan for repayment. Others may offer unsolicited investment advice or expect you to fund their untested ideas. If you react with hostility or suspicion, you create division and unnecessary conflict. The quietly rich navigate these situations with calm firmness and clear boundaries. They do not use their resources to purchase affection or approval, nor do they display defensive anger when requests are made. They simply establish clear principles beforehand. They may choose to assist loved ones quietly through educational funds or emergency support without making long-term financial commitments that breed resentment. By maintaining clear separation between personal affection and financial management, they protect both their relationships and their peace. Another essential trait of the quietly rich is their willingness to reject opportunities that carry a high cost to their peace of mind. The financial landscape is filled with high-yield promises and aggressive ventures that demand constant vigilance and high stress. The loud investor is often drawn to these high-stakes opportunities because they provide a sense of thrill and public prestige. The quietly rich evaluate potential returns through a broader lens. They calculate what is known as the friction-adjusted return. If an investment promises a large financial yield but requires constant late-night calls and ongoing legal disputes and perpetual anxiety, they categorize it as an unprofitable venture. They understand that a moderate return earned with complete peace of mind is far superior to a high return earned at the expense of your sleep and health. They willingly pass on chaotic deals to preserve their calm. This refusal to trade peace for marginal gains is one of the clearest markers of true financial maturity. Consider the artificial sense of urgency created by modern news and social commentary. Every day brought forward by public media is framed as a crisis or an unprecedented breakthrough. The headlines encourage you to act immediately to avoid missing out or to protect yourself from imminent disaster. This constant noise is designed to trigger emotional reactions, because emotional reactions drive engagement and consumption. The quietly rich have cultivated a deep immunity to this manufactured urgency. They operate on a completely different time horizon. When a new trend sweeps through the culture, or when a sudden market drop creates widespread alarm, they step back and observe. They do not make major financial moves in response to breaking news. They understand that most daily events are merely temporary noise that will dissolve over time. By delaying their response and allowing the emotional dust to settle, they consistently make decisions that are grounded in long-term logic, rather than short-term panic. To protect themselves from their own human impulses, the quietly rich rely heavily on automated systems rather than willpower. Willpower is a limited resource that fluctuates based on fatigue and stress and environment. Relying on willpower to save money or execute investments every single month is a fragile strategy. On days when you feel exhausted or discouraged, your willpower is compromised, and you are far more likely to make poor spending choices. The quietly rich bypass this vulnerability by automating their financial habits. They configure their accounts so that a fixed portion of their incoming capital is automatically directed into savings and investment vehicles before they ever see or touch it. The money moves quietly behind the scenes without requiring a monthly decision. This simple setup converts wealth building from a constant mental struggle into an automatic background process. It ensures that progress occurs consistently, regardless of your mood or daily stress levels. This approach leads to what can be called silent leverage. In classical physics, leverage allows a person to move a heavy object with minimal physical force. In the realm of personal finance, silent leverage is the use of automated code and software and accumulated capital to move your life forward without increasing your labor. The person who relies solely on manual labor to build wealth is operating with one-to-one leverage. They exchange 1 hour of effort for 1 unit of compensation. The quietly rich focus on building systems that possess exponential leverage, an automated index investment strategy, or a digital business asset, operates 24 hours a day without requiring rest. It works continuously, regardless of market chatter or personal fatigue. When you assemble multiple forms of silent leverage, you create a resilient structure that supports your financial independence, independent of your physical output. Let us also look at how the quietly rich view setbacks and financial errors. The average individual experiences deep shame when a financial decision goes wrong. If an investment loses value or a small business initiative fails, they treat it as a personal flaw. They hide the loss and ruminate on the mistake, and often become overly cautious in the future. The quietly rich take a detached and objective view of failure. They accept that unexpected outcomes are an inevitable cost of participating in economic life. When a loss occurs, they do not internalize it as a reflection of their personal worth. They analyze the event dispassionately to understand what variables were missed. They treat the lost capital as tuition paid for a valuable lesson in risk management. This objective perspective allows them to adapt quickly and refine their strategy without suffering emotional trauma or long-term paralysis. There is also a direct link between physical health and quiet wealth creation that is rarely discussed. Clear thinking requires a baseline of physical well-being. When an individual suffers from chronic fatigue or high stress or poor sleeping habits, their capacity for sound decision-making diminishes significantly. They become far more susceptible to short-term thinking and impulsive spending as a way to cope with their physical discomfort. The quietly rich recognize that protecting their physical health is a foundational financial strategy. They prioritize consistent rest and nourishing habits and regular physical movement. They view these daily routines not as luxurious self-care but as essential maintenance for their primary decision-making engine. By maintaining their health, they protect their ability to evaluate opportunities accurately and make disciplined choices over long periods. As you integrate these practices, you begin to experience a quiet restructuring of your daily priorities. You spend less time contemplating what others think of your progress, and more time cultivating your internal state. You find immense satisfaction in small, simple routines that require very little money, but yield high emotional returns. You begin to appreciate the immense power of empty time on your calendar. Empty time is not wasted time. It is the canvas upon which deep thinking and creative problem-solving occur. The loud approach to life fills every hour with visible activity and high consumption. The quiet path leaves room for stillness and strategic reflection. In that stillness, you gain the perspective required to steer your life toward genuine security and enduring peace. You move through the world with a steady presence that does not need to announce itself. Let us examine another foundational habit of the quietly rich, which involves their relationship with debt and obligation. Most people treat debt as a bridge to a lifestyle they cannot currently afford. They view credit cards and personal loans as extensions of their income. This mindset creates a quiet form of financial bondage. When you borrow money to purchase items that lose value over time, you are forcing your future self to work for a past desire. The quietly rich view consumer debt with extreme caution. They understand that debt represents a mortgage on their future freedom. Every monthly obligation you create reduces your ability to pivot when circumstances change. There is a profound distinction between productive leverage and consumer bondage. Productive leverage involves using borrowed capital to acquire assets that generate income greater than the cost of the debt itself. Consumer bondage occurs when you borrow funds to purchase items that depreciate immediately. The quietly rich strictly avoid consumer bondage. If they choose to use leverage at all, it is carefully calculated to build enterprise value or secure stable real assets with predictable cash flows. They never use debt to support a lifestyle or project an image of success. Many people believe they own their possessions simply because those items sit on their property or in their driveway. But if an item requires ongoing payments and heavy insurance and constant maintenance, you do not fully own it. In a very real sense, the item owns a portion of your labor. The quietly rich place a high value on unencumbered ownership. Owning a modest asset completely provides far more freedom than managing a massive asset that carries heavy debt burdens. When you owe nothing to anyone, your baseline cost of living remains extremely low. A low baseline cost of living is one of the most powerful financial shields you can possess. Consider how the quietly rich approach negotiations and business transactions. The average individual enters a negotiation with a desire to look dominant and victorious. They want to win the argument and prove their superiority to everyone in the room. This ego-driven approach often creates unnecessary friction and ruins potentially valuable agreements. The quietly rich enter negotiations with total emotional neutrality. They care very little about looking smart or dominant. They care exclusively about the underlying structure of the agreement and the long-term value it creates. In many cases, the quietly rich will gladly allow the other party to feel as though they secured a major victory. They understand that when the other side feels satisfied, the transaction moves forward smoothly, with minimal future conflict. As long as the quietly rich achieve their core objectives regarding risk and long-term value, they are entirely content to let the public praise go to someone else. This quiet humility in deal-making preserves valuable relationships and secures quiet prosperity over time. Ego wants the victory speech, while wisdom wants the durable result. Let us look closely at how energy management influences financial choices. Every decision you make during the day consumes a small amount of mental energy. This includes choices about what to wear or what to eat, or how to respond to trivial social chatter. By the time evening arrives, your cognitive capacity is significantly reduced. This state of decision fatigue makes you highly vulnerable to impulsive financial choices. You are far more likely to make mindless purchases or order expensive conveniences when your brain is tired from managing unnecessary friction. The quietly rich protect their cognitive bandwidth by aggressively simplifying their daily environments. They adopt consistent wardrobes and predictable meal routines and clear personal systems. They do not spend valuable morning energy deciding on superficial details. They reserve their decision-making reserves for high-leverage choices regarding capital allocation and long-term strategy. This systematic reduction of daily friction keeps their judgment sharp throughout the week. When your mind is clear, you make fewer emotional mistakes with your capital. There is a fundamental difference between accumulating money and practicing quiet stewardship. An accumulation is often driven by a fear of scarcity or a desire for personal power. Stewardship is the disciplined management of resources for long-term stability and legacy. The quietly rich view themselves as stewards of their capital. They recognize that money is a tool meant to be organized efficiently to support life and create security for generations. They do not treat wealth as a toy for personal amusement, but as a responsibility to be managed with care and foresight. When it comes to guiding the next generation, the quietly rich take a very distinct approach. Loud wealth often spoils children by showering them with visible luxuries and unearned privilege. This frequently creates a cycle of dependency and entitlement that destroys family resources across generations. The quietly rich teach their children the value of quiet effort and personal responsibility. They emphasize financial literacy and strong work ethics over financial inheritance. They want their heirs to develop the internal capability to generate and protect resources independently. They also cultivate a strong culture of family privacy. They teach their children not to boast about family assets or display prosperity at school or in social circles. They help them understand that privacy is a rare and valuable gift that protects them from unwanted attention and insincere relationships. By instilling these quiet values early, they ensure that family stability endures across decades rather than dissolving in a single generation. True inheritance is not a sum of cash, but a framework of disciplined habits. In the realm of investing, most people confuse price volatility with permanent loss of capital. When the market price of an asset drops temporarily, they react as though they have lost real value. They panic and sell at the bottom because they cannot tolerate the visual decline on their account screen. The quietly rich view volatility as a normal feature of open markets. They understand that price is merely what someone is willing to pay today, while value is the underlying productive capacity of the asset over time. Because they do not confuse short-term price drops with permanent structural loss, the quietly rich stay calm during market corrections. In fact, they often view widespread panic as a quiet opportunity. When emotional investors sell sound assets at discounted prices, the quietly rich use their cash reserves to acquire those assets. They do not shout about their moves or try to sound heroic on social platforms. They simply execute their orders with steady precision, while others are consumed by media noise. Another subtle habit of the quietly rich involves how they practice generosity. When average individuals donate money or support a project, they often seek public recognition. They want their names on buildings or social media posts to enhance their public reputation. The quietly rich practice internal generosity. They support projects and individuals anonymously whenever possible. They derive deep fulfillment from the positive impact itself rather than from the applause of the crowd. Anonymous giving keeps your motivations clean and objective. It prevents the build-up of subtle debt expectations or uncomfortable power dynamics between you and the recipient. When you give, without expecting recognition or public credit, you reinforce your own sense of abundance. You prove to your own mind that you possess resources beyond your immediate personal needs, and that you do not require public validation to feel whole. This strengthens your character and deepens your quiet confidence. Consider the influence of your immediate social circle on your financial trajectory. Human beings are deeply social creatures who absorb the habits and standards of the people around them. If your close associates are constantly discussing consumer upgrades and status symbols, you will inevitably feel subtle pressure to conform. You will find yourself justifying spending choices that do not align with your long-term goals, simply to maintain group cohesion. The quietly rich are extremely selective about their inner circle. They seek out individuals who value substance and deep thinking and personal accountability. They build relationships with people who do not care about surface-level displays of prosperity. In these quiet circles, conversations revolve around ideas and health and character and long-term strategies. Surrounding yourself with quiet stability makes it infinitely easier to maintain your own disciplined habits. You no longer have to fight the social tide because your inner circle moves in the same calm direction. Time is the one resource that cannot be replenished once it is spent. The loudest form of poverty is selling all of your time to maintain a lifestyle that you barely have energy to enjoy. The highest form of quiet wealth is having absolute ownership over your daily schedule. When you own your time, you can choose to spend a Tuesday morning reading, or walking, or working on a quiet project without asking anyone for permission. You are no longer living on someone else's clock. The ultimate metric of quiet wealth is not the size of your portfolio or the prestige of your title. It is the percentage of your days that belong entirely to you. When you align your money habits with this truth, your life shifts dramatically. You stop viewing money as a status score and start viewing it as a buffer that protects your autonomy. Every quiet decision to save and invest buys another hour of future freedom. Over time, those hours accumulate into years of absolute self-sovereignty. As you step further along this quiet path, you will notice that the desire to impress anyone completely evaporates. You will move through the world with an internal anchor that cannot be shaken by economic trends or social noise. You will appreciate the quiet power of having nothing to prove and everything to protect. You are building a life of profound stability that serves you silently day after day. Your actions become steady, and your focus remains undivided. Let us examine how the quietly rich navigate life transitions and economic shifts without losing their internal equilibrium. Most people view stability as a static state where nothing changes. They build a lifestyle based on the assumption that their current income and economic environment will remain constant forever. When a shift occurs, they experience intense anxiety because their living expenses and expectations are locked at a high level. The quietly rich understand that change is a constant feature in economic systems. They do not fight change or pretend it will not happen. Instead, they build their entire financial structure to be naturally resilient. They maintain what can be described as quiet adaptability. This adaptability allows them to navigate economic downturns, career shifts, or industry changes with calm grace and minimal disruption. Consider the difference between active resistance and quiet adaptation. When an economic storm arrives, the loud consumer often attempts to maintain their visible standard of living at all costs. They continue to spend on luxuries and maintain expensive habits because they fear that scaling back will reveal their true circumstances to their social circle. This active resistance drains their reserves rapidly and increases their emotional stress. The quietly rich feel no compulsion to perform for others. If economic conditions suggest that a conservative stance is wise, they adjust their financial allocation quietly and immediately. They do not view reducing expenditure as a defeat or a loss of face. They view it as a logical and strategic recalibration. Because their ego is not tied to their spending habits, they can pivot without emotional friction. This capacity for seamless adjustment relies heavily on the practice of internal grounding. Internal grounding means that your sense of security comes from your capabilities and your saved reserves, rather than your external title or social standing. Many professionals tie their entire identity to their job title, or the size of their office, or the reputation of their employer. If that role is restructured or eliminated, they feel a profound loss of identity along with financial shock. The quietly rich maintain a clear separation between who they are as individuals and what they do for a living. They treat their profession or business as a vehicle for resource generation rather than the source of their personal worth. This mental distance allows them to make objective career decisions. They can walk away from difficult environments or pivot to new industries with calm confidence, because their self-worth remains entirely intact. Let us look closely at how the quietly rich evaluate new opportunities during periods of broad societal hype. Every few years, the financial world experiences a surge of excitement around a new trend or speculative vehicle. Media outlets and public figures promote these opportunities as fast paths to extraordinary wealth. The loud investor is often drawn to these trends because they crave rapid validation and dramatic gains. They fear missing out on what seems to be easy progress. The quietly rich approach speculative excitement with quiet skepticism. They know that rapid upward spikes are frequently accompanied by severe downside risk. They prefer slow and predictable progress over volatile speculation. They are content to leave high-risk opportunities to others while they continue to allocate capital into proven and understandable assets. This focus on understandable assets is a critical habit. The quietly rich rarely invest in structures they do not deeply comprehend. If an opportunity cannot be explained in simple terms, or if its underlying value depends entirely on future market sentiment, they step back. They do not care if others make short-term gains in complex or opaque ventures. They value peace of mind above maximum potential yield. By restricting their capital to assets with clear cash flows and tangible value, they eliminate a massive category of risk. They sleep comfortably, knowing that their portfolio is built on solid foundations rather than public sentiment or complex financial engineering. This disciplined focus on simplicity is often mistaken for lack of sophistication. In reality, it represents the highest form of strategic clarity. Another essential aspect of quiet wealth is the management of attention clutter. In the modern era, we are bombarded with a constant stream of financial news, market commentary, and social updates. This continuous flow of information is designed to trigger emotional responses and urge immediate action. The loud investor consumes this media constantly and allows it to dictate their daily mood and financial choices. The quietly rich practice strict information hygiene. They intentionally limit their exposure to short-term news cycles and market commentary. They recognize that most daily commentary is merely noise designed to generate views rather than provide enduring wisdom. Instead of reacting to daily headlines, they focus on long-term trends and fundamental principles. They read deeply, think quietly, and review their financial strategies at scheduled intervals rather than responding to daily events. Consider how this information hygiene protects decision-making quality. When you constantly consume real-time updates, your brain enters a state of heightened alertness. You begin to see patterns and threats that do not exist in reality. You feel a persistent urge to tweak your investments or alter your long-term plans. This excessive activity often leads to transaction costs, tax inefficiencies, and poor timing. By stepping back from the real-time stream, the quietly rich create space for deep and objective analysis. They can evaluate market developments with a calm and measured perspective. They make fewer financial moves, but those moves are executed with high precision and conviction. Silent equity grows best in an environment of low intervention and high patience. Let us examine the concept of quiet optionality and how it alters your posture in negotiations and life choices. Optionality is the degree to which you possess alternative courses of action. A person with high overhead and no cash reserves has zero optionality. They must accept whatever terms are offered by their employer or clients, because they cannot afford a lapse in income, even for a single month. This lack of optionality creates a vulnerable posture. You are forced to tolerate unfavorable conditions or unreasonable demands. The quietly rich build deep optionality into their lives through low expenses and high liquid reserves. When you have 2 years of living expenses safely stored away, your posture changes completely. You can say no to projects that do not align with your values. You can negotiate from a position of quiet strength because you do not need the deal to survive. This quiet strength is not aggressive or hostile. It does not require you to make demands or raise your voice in a meeting. It is simply an internal knowing that you have alternatives. When the person on the other side of a negotiation senses that you are comfortable walking away, they often treat you with greater respect and offer better terms. Optionality is the ultimate invisible asset. You cannot display it on a wrist or drive it down the street, but it influences every interaction and decision in your life. It transforms your work from a desperate struggle for survival into a deliberate choice to engage. The quietly rich prioritize optionality over luxury every single time. They would rather own their independence than display their prosperity. We must also address how the quietly rich handle personal mistakes and miscalculations. No matter how disciplined or analytical you are, you will occasionally make a poor financial decision. An investment may underperform, a business initiative may fail, or an unexpected expense may arise. The loud individual often responds to financial mistakes with deep shame or public defensiveness. They try to hide the failure or blame external circumstances to protect their image. This emotional reaction prevents them from learning from the experience. The quietly rich view financial mistakes as natural data points in a complex environment. They do not view a failed decision as a reflection of their intelligence or worth. They analyze the outcome dispassionately, identify the error in their reasoning, and adjust their process for the future. This dispassionate approach to error allows the quietly rich to recover quickly from setbacks. Because they maintain generous margins of safety, a single mistake rarely threatens their overall financial integrity. They accept the loss, absorb the lesson, and move forward without lingering regret or emotional baggage. They understand that perfection is impossible in economic life. What matters is not avoiding every mistake, but ensuring that no single mistake can eliminate your capacity to operate. By keeping their risk exposure controlled and their emotional attachment low, they maintain their ability to compound resources steadily across decades. They treat setbacks not as disasters, but as minor adjustments along a long and quiet path. I think about the cumulative impact of these quiet habits over a lifetime. While others are busy managing public impressions, servicing high consumer debt, and reacting to daily market chatter, the quietly rich are quietly building an unshakable foundation. They experience less daily stress, enjoy greater control over their schedules, and build genuine security for their families. They do not need the applause of strangers because they possess the quiet satisfaction of self-sovereignty. They have mastered the art of living below the noise. As you reflect on these principles, ask yourself where you can introduce more quiet discipline into your own life. Where can you drop the performative elements and focus on pure substance? The path to quiet wealth is available to anyone willing to trade visible status for invisible power and enduring peace. As you integrate these concepts into your daily routine, remember that quiet wealth is an ongoing practice rather than a static destination. It is built through small, deliberate choices made day after day. It is found in the decision to pause before spending, the choice to keep your affairs private, and the commitment to value your time over surface displays. By walking this path with patience and clarity, you build a life of quiet stability that serves you and your loved ones for years to come. You move forward with calm confidence, knowing that true prosperity does not need to shout to be real. Now we arrive at the 6th section of our exploration into the master integration of quiet wealth. Up to this point, we have examined how the quietly rich manage their visibility, evaluate value, preserve operational stillness, handle debt, and adapt to economic shifts. These individual habits are powerful on their own, but when they are combined into a single unified way of living, they produce a profound state of internal sovereignty. You no longer need to remind yourself to act with discipline, because quiet discipline has become your natural state of being. You move through the financial world with calm awareness, making decisions from a foundation of deep clarity, rather than impulse or external pressure. The master integration begins with a fundamental reorientation of your daily relationship with time and attention. Most individuals spend their days reacting to external demands. They answer every notification, react to every market fluctuation, and adjust their plans based on the latest opinions of their social environment. This reactive stance keeps them in a state of continuous cognitive fatigue. The quietly rich operate from a position of proactive design. They structure their mornings and evenings around activities that build internal capacity. They dedicate time to quiet reflection, physical movement, and deep reading. By protecting their attention at the beginning and end of each day, they maintain an unshakable anchor that holds firm, regardless of external chaos. Consider how this internal anchor transforms your capacity for long-term strategic planning. When your mind is clear and your emotional state is grounded, you can analyze complex situations with remarkable objectivity. You can look at a prospective investment or business venture and see its structural realities clearly. You are not blinded by optimistic sales pitches or distracted by superficial presentation. You look directly at the underlying numbers, the competitive landscape, and the quality of the people involved. If the opportunity lacks solid fundamentals or requires excessive operational friction, you simply step away without regret. You recognize that saying no to mediocre opportunities is the single best way to preserve your capital and mental energy for truly exceptional endeavors. This selective approach extends naturally into your professional and personal networks. As you embody the habits of quiet wealth, you become increasingly aware of the quality of your interactions. You find yourself less interested in surface-level social gatherings where people compete for status and attention. Instead, you seek out meaningful conversations with individuals who value depth, integrity, and mutual respect. You cultivate relationships based on shared values rather than potential utility or social leverage. In these quiet and trusting relationships, you find genuine camaraderie and intellectual stimulation. You create a supportive ecosystem where each person encourages the others to live with greater accountability and purpose. Let us examine the concept of ethical influence and how it functions within quiet wealth. Many people mistakenly believe that strength requires loudness or an aggressive posture. They think that to influence others, you must dominate the conversation or assert your authority publicly. The quietly rich demonstrate a far higher form of influence. They lead through example, emotional composure, and unwavering reliability. When you consistently honor your commitments, maintain your calm in challenging moments, and treat others with fairness, you cultivate immense respect. People naturally gravitate toward those who remain stable during turbulent times. Your quiet authority becomes a source of guidance for those around you, without you ever needing to demand attention or enforce control. This ethical stance also shapes how you view competition in the marketplace. The loud competitor is constantly focused on rival firms or peers. They measure their success by whether they are outperforming someone else in public rankings or market share. This outward focus often leads to reactive decision-making and wasted resources. The quietly rich focus on internal excellence and value creation. They compete primarily against their own past standards. They ask how they can refine their systems, improve the quality of their offerings, and serve their clients or communities with greater effectiveness. By focusing on intrinsic quality rather than public comparison, they build durable operations that naturally withstand competitive pressures. Consider the deep psychological freedom that comes from eliminating financial pretense. When you no longer care whether strangers perceive you as successful, a massive weight is lifted from your shoulders. You no longer feel the need to update your wardrobe every season to match changing trends. You no longer feel compelled to upgrade your living space or vehicle simply to impress visitors or colleagues. This release from pretense frees up significant financial resources that can be directed into quiet assets. Even more importantly, it frees up your psychological energy. You can devote your full attention to creative projects, personal growth, and spending quality time with those you care about. The absence of pretense is the beginning of true peace. Another critical dimension of quiet wealth is the mastery of emotional regulation during periods of personal or economic stress. When unexpected challenges arise, such as a major market downturn, a health setback, or an industry disruption, the average person often experiences acute anxiety. They may react impulsively by liquidating assets at the worst possible time, or making desperate choices to preserve their lifestyle. The quietly rich have trained themselves to observe their emotional reactions without being governed by them. They recognize that fear and panic are temporary physiological responses. When they feel these emotions rising, they pause. They step back from the situation, gather accurate facts, and evaluate their options with dispassionate logic. This emotional composure is supported by their robust financial architecture, because they maintain low overhead, substantial liquidity, and unencumbered assets. They possess the practical room to maneuver during difficult times. They know that even if incoming cash flows slow down for a period, their immediate security is fully protected. This knowledge allows them to respond to crises with thoughtful strategy rather than desperate panic. They can afford to take a long-term view, waiting for market conditions to normalize, or pivoting their strategies in an orderly manner. Their practical preparedness provides the foundation for their mental stillness, creating a virtuous cycle of calm judgment and prudent action. Let us look closely at how quiet wealth shapes your relationship with personal legacy. Most people think of legacy in terms of tangible monuments, large public donations, or named buildings. They want their name preserved in public memory as proof that their life mattered. The quietly rich view legacy through a much more intimate and functional lens. They view legacy as the quiet transfer of wisdom, values, and emotional stability to the next generation. They care deeply about raising children and supporting loved ones who are grounded, capable, and self-reliant. They focus on teaching practical skills, emotional maturity, and financial literacy, rather than simply leaving behind a large sum of unearned money. When inheritance is accompanied by quiet values, it becomes a tool for empowerment rather than a catalyst for entitlement. The children of the quietly rich grow up understanding that wealth is a responsibility to be stewarded with care rather than a license for indulgence. They learn to value effort, discipline, and personal integrity because they have seen those qualities modeled by their parents every day. They enter adulthood with the confidence that they can build their own success, supported by a strong foundation of family stability and shared values. This quiet transfer of character ensures that the family resources continue to serve a constructive purpose across multiple generations. As you integrate all of these quiet habits into your daily life, you will experience a subtle but profound shift in your self-concept. You will realize that true wealth is not something you display to the world. It is something you embody within yourself. It is found in your ability to wake up each morning with a clear mind and a calm spirit. It is found in your freedom to choose how you spend your time and where you direct your energy. It is found in your capacity to handle challenges with grace and to support others with quiet generosity. This internal state cannot be purchased with money alone. It is cultivated through thousands of quiet decisions made with consistency and self-awareness. The journey to quiet wealth is not about achieving a static state of perfection. It is a continuous practice of refining your habits, examining your motivations, and aligning your actions with your deepest values. There will be days when you feel tempted by the loud noise of the culture, or when you feel the pull of social comparison. In those moments, simply return to the fundamentals, pause, and reflect on what truly matters to you. Reaffirm your commitment to personal freedom over visible status. Remind yourself that the opinions of strangers hold no real power over your life. Each time you choose quiet discipline over loud performance, you reinforce your internal anchor and step further along the path of self-sovereignty. You now possess the complete framework of the quietly rich. You understand the power of remaining visually unremarkable, the art of evaluating value through long-term compounding, the necessity of operational stillness, the danger of consumer bondage, and the importance of quiet adaptability. These are not secret formulas known only to a select few. They are universal principles of human behavior, economic reality, and self-discipline. They are accessible to anyone who is willing to step off the performative treadmill and embrace the quiet path. As you move forward, carry these principles with you as a trusted guide. Trust in the quiet process, stay grounded in your values, and build a life of enduring peace, freedom, and quiet strength. We have traveled together through a profound transformation of perspective. We looked beneath the noise of a society obsessed with external displays and stepped into the quiet realm of true financial independence. You have seen how the quietly rich operate, not through secret tricks or aggressive schemes, but through a relentless commitment to personal responsibility and emotional mastery. This path is open to anyone willing to release the heavy burden of social pretense. It does not require a unique background or an extraordinary inheritance. It simply demands that you align your daily actions with your deepest values and value your future freedom more than your current visibility. Reframe the entire journey in your mind. What is real wealth after all? It is not the collection of physical objects that gradually fade into irrelevance. It is not the superficial approval of strangers who do not know your daily struggles. Wealth is the presence of options. It is the ability to wake up each morning and decide how you will direct your energy. It is the deep peace that comes from knowing your home, your health, and your future are secure. When you measure success by internal peace rather than external applause, you break free from the performative cycle that traps so many individuals. Remember the principle of invisibility. The world will continuously invite you to show your results. Advertisers will try to persuade you that your worth is tied to what you consume. Social circles will subtly pressure you to match their visible upgrades. Every time you feel that pressure, pause and remember that visibility is a tax on your peace. By choosing to remain visually unremarkable, you keep your capital and your focus intact. You build a fortress of quiet resources that protects you and your loved ones across decades. Anonymity is not weakness. Anonymity is a strategic shield that allows you to move freely without drawing unnecessary expectations. Consider the discipline of value. Value is not determined by a brand or a high price tag. Value is found in utility, peace, and long-term compounding. When you evaluate every financial decision through the lens of future freedom, every dollar becomes a quiet worker in your system. You no longer view money as something to be traded for temporary pleasures. You view it as a silent force that works continuously to buy back your time. As your silent team of workers grows, your daily reliance on external circumstances diminishes. You shift from working for survival to managing a system that generates freedom independently. Reflect on operational stillness. True wealth does not require chaotic motion or frantic activity. It thrives in an environment of low friction and high clarity. By automating your financial habits, protecting your attention from daily news cycles, and maintaining simple routines, you remove the emotional noise that ruins so many lives. You position yourself to navigate economic storms with calm resolve, while others act out of panic. Stillness is not laziness. It is the highest form of strategic alignment. When you step back from unnecessary operational turmoil, you preserve your cognitive capacity for decisions that truly matter. Think about your relationship with obligations and debt. Consumer debt is a heavy chain that ties your future self to past desires. By rejecting consumer bondage and maintaining a low baseline cost of living, you secure a rare and precious asset, which is optionality. When you owe nothing to anyone, you walk through the world with absolute self-sovereignty. You can say no to bad deals and step away from unhealthy environments. You gain the freedom to live according to your own principles rather than someone else's demands. Low overhead is the ultimate financial buffer. Embrace the practice of quiet adaptability. Economic systems will change, markets will shift, and personal circumstances will evolve. The quietly rich do not fear change because their self-worth is not tied to a static image or title. They adapt quietly and immediately, without emotional trauma or public defensiveness. They maintain generous buffers of cash and deep optionality so that every economic shift becomes a quiet opportunity rather than a disaster. Adaptability is the ultimate survival tool in a dynamic world. When you release the need to appear unchanging, you gain the agility required to thrive anywhere. Realize that the integration of these habits creates a new identity. You are no longer someone who simply manages money. You are a steward of your own life. You take full accountability for your choices, your physical health, and your mental focus. You measure your progress against your own past standards, rather than the public standings of others. You find immense satisfaction in small daily actions that nobody else ever witnesses. This internal alignment radiates outward as a steady and confident presence that commands respect without ever asking for it. Share the quiet power of ethical influence, but you do not need to speak loudly or dominate others to make a lasting impact. Your steady demeanor, dispassionate logic, and unwavering integrity will serve as a beacon for those around you. By living these principles, you demonstrate to your family, friends, and colleagues that there is a better way to live. You show them that success can be quiet, peaceful, and sustainable. This is the true legacy of the quietly rich. It is not a sum of cash left behind, but a living framework of character and wisdom. Think about the journey ahead. The habits you have learned are not static rules to be followed blindly. They are living principles to be practiced daily. There will be moments when temptation returns, or when the world tempts you to seek validation. In those moments, simply breathe deeply and return to your internal anchor. Remember that your freedom is worth far more than any temporary display. Trust in the quiet compounding of your efforts over time. Small, deliberate choices made day after day will yield extraordinary stability over a lifetime. As we bring this audiobook to a close, recognize that you hold the complete blueprint for your own liberation. You do not need the permission of anyone to step onto the quiet path. You do not need to announce your intention to the world or seek approval from your peers. Simply begin making quiet choices today. Automate your savings, lower your daily friction, protect your peace of mind, and focus on pure substance over surface displays. Let your progress remain invisible, while your internal peace grows unshakable. The path of the quietly rich is not crowded. Most people will continue to run on the loud treadmill of consumption and comparison. But you have chosen a different direction. You have chosen the path of sovereignty, clarity, and enduring strengths. Move forward with calm confidence. Walk with steady purpose. Own your time, protect your mind, and enjoy the profound peace of a life built on solid ground. Let us close with a final reflection on the nature of quiet success. When you reach the stage where your money works for you, without demanding your attention, you realize that true wealth was never about money itself. Money was simply the tool that allowed you to reclaim your humanity. It allowed you to spend uninterrupted hours with loved ones, to pursue meaningful work without financial fear, and to rest deeply at night, knowing your foundation is secure. You have quietly built a life that does not need a vacation to escape from. You have built a home within yourself that cannot be shaken by the storm outside. Carry these truths with you into your daily life. Let them guide your decisions when you face the temptation to spend, perform, or prove yourself. Remember that the quietly rich do not shout because their security speaks for itself. They do not boast because their freedom is obvious to those who understand substance. Stand firm in your commitment to quiet power. Live below the noise, protect your autonomy, and cultivate the inner stillness that defines true mastery. Your journey does not end here. It begins anew with every quiet decision you make tomorrow morning and every deliberate choice you execute in the months ahead. Be patient with your progress, honor your boundaries, and celebrate the invisible victories that build your character. You are now equipped with the timeless principles of the quietly rich. Go forward in peace and build your enduring legacy.